Hi, this is Charlie Zeiss with Stargate Pyramids. Today's video is going to be about some recent discoveries I've made about the relationship between the geometry of the Stargate Pyramid and the phi scaling angle, and finding that in Mormon temples. Now, I found out about this just a couple of days ago. I don't want to get into this part of it, but the reason I looked at the Mormon temples was because they're now in the news, and I don't want to go into that in any great detail, but the article that I happened to see when this first came out had a picture of the Salt Lake Temple, and immediately I began to see that that temple was filled with the Stargate Pyramid geometry. So that's led me into this video and the research that comes with it. So let me open up my slide and we'll begin. This is the thumbnail that I put together for today's video. This is a picture of the Salt Lake Temple in Salt Lake City, Utah. This is the largest LDS temple in the world, and is the one that I focused on initially in my research. So to give you a little bit of information, and I think this background is going to be important as we proceed this through this discussion. This information about the Salt Lake City Temple is coming from Wikipedia, and although it may be a little bit hard for you to read, this says that the Salt Lake Temple incorporates many symbolic adornments, including Masonic symbols. Symbolism is an important part of the LDS faith, and these symbols include the following. Now, what this is a demonstration of a number of symbols that are used, some of which are in fact Masonic symbols. So here's a printout of those, and a couple that I want to point out just to show you the Masonic correlation here. The all-seeing eye, we see. The beehive is interesting as well, although I'm looking at the beehive more from the perspective of the Russian research from Viktor Grebennikov, who indicates that, which indicates that the beehive is a geometry which helps with anti-gravity. And in fact, Grebennikov used that information from the beehive to build anti-gravity machines that he could travel on throughout Russia. So another thing, the compass and square is depicted in the Mormon temples. And also, let's go down to the spires and talk about those. Those are the pyramid-shaped objects on the top. There's 6 of these spires on the temple, and they represent the power of the priesthood. And I think this is an important thing to discuss because, as we know, the geometry of the Stargate Pyramid is it's got phi scaling angle. It's interdimensional. And so I think it's fascinating that they've incorporated that within this temple, fully displaying and recognizing that this geometry is interdimensional and is really what gave those priests, or a symbol of the power of the priesthood, so to speak. Now, the Masonic influence, by way of background, I've previously shown this in other videos, but the George Washington National Masonic Temple outside Washington, D.C., depicts this very geometry at the top, as you can see. We previously measured that to be 76.35 degrees. And as we proceed on, today you're going to find this a very similar looking top structure to 2 other temples that are located in Los Angeles. So with that said, let's start with a little bit of information about the Salt Lake Temple. The Salt Lake Temple is a temple of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or the LDS Church, on Temple Square in Salt Lake City. At 253,000 square feet, it's the largest LDS temple in the world by floor area. It was dedicated in 1893, and it's the 6th temple completed by the church and required 40 years to complete. It's the 4th temple built since the Mormon exodus from Illinois in 1846. So Interestingly, on April 19th of this year, 2019, the LDS Church announced that the temple will close on December 29th, 2019 for renovations that are going to take about 4 years. An interesting timing given the recent information in the news about the church. But this is a beautiful facility, as you can see, and you can see all of these spires are pyramidal shaped, and you can see all the smaller pyramid-shaped spires as well, surrounding each of the larger 6 spires. Now, to start, we've measured the largest, our central spire, at 76.34 degrees. Again, for those of you who are familiar with my previous work, we're using the MB ruler, which is a protractor app that can be used with Google Chrome. So it makes this exercise relatively straightforward. The margin of error in this is fairly small, and it's a function of the pixelation of the picture and the size of the object itself. But you can see we're getting an angle here of 76.34 degrees when our theoretical ideal is 76.345 degrees. Here's another picture of that spire as well, measuring 76.33 degrees. Another one at 76.31. And here's another different angle, a little bit more nighttime view, 76.31 degrees. And you can see the lights are beginning to come on. And here's one that's straight on. We like to get pictures that are straight on as well, because this is generally the most accurate way to measure these angles. With the protractor app, 76.36 degrees in this case. So obviously all of these measurements are within the margin of error and precision that we can get with the MB ruler. Now here's a beautiful picture of the 3 spires at night with the lights on. One of the things that becomes very obvious with the lights on, you can see that this geometry continues down from the top, not just through the initial spire, but through these various levels. And what came to mind when I started to look at this picture was that this reminded me, and I'll show you this in a moment, of the northern India Hindu temples, which depict the fractal nature of creation. And I think that this is showing, or an attempt to demonstrate, the same thing. If you look, there are smaller pyramids on each side of the larger pyramid, number one. But second, the smaller pyramids on each side get smaller as you go up towards the top of the pyramid, depicting, in my view, a fractal, their knowledge of the fractal nature of creation. And of course, the sacred geometry of 76.345 degrees. Now here's an example, by way of comparison, of the top of a northern India Hindu temple displaying the same fractal nature in its construction. Now here's another picture at night. We'll see that the geometry continues all the way down at 76.35 degrees. And you can once again see these, these smaller pyramids or spires declining in size as you get up towards the top. Now here's another, this is one of 2 temples in Los Angeles that the Mormon Church has developed. This one, as you can see, and the other one will as well, has a pyramidal or spire-shaped top. Very similar, if you remember back to the construction on the George Washington National Masonic Temple, we saw a very, very similar construction pattern there. So we've got, in this smaller photograph, a precision down to 76.4 degrees. Here's another Los Angeles temple with a similar depiction at the top. And again, it's 76, we got that one down to 76.35 degrees. So the same kind of architecture. It looks like it was influenced by the Masons, or that the Masons was influenced, but I figure it was the Masons that influenced the Mormons in this case, because they've been around for a longer period of time. Here's a beautiful picture of the Kansas City Temple. And again, 2 spires at the top. Once again, within the margin of error, we've got 76.31 degrees as the geometry of those spires. And finally, we're going to look at the oldest ongoing temple of the Mormon Church that's been in continuous use, and that's the 10th Ward Temple in Salt Lake City. Once again, you'll see the dome or spire at the top, and it has the geometry of the Stargate Pyramid. Another topic which we've looked at recently and found in the context of the Mayan calendar, which was the concept of a pyramid within a pyramid. This shows a blow up of one of the smaller pyramidal or spires around the larger spires at the top of the Salt Lake Temple. And we can see this cutout. And for those of you who've seen my other videos, you probably can recollect that we've seen this in other situations. And by way of comparison, I'm showing that blow up here with the hieroglyph of a pyramid from the Temple of Karnak in the middle in Egypt. And then more recently, we discovered this a similar depiction in the Mayan calendar. So all 3 of these are demonstrating the same geometry and also have this cutout in the middle, which seems to us to symbolize the idea of a pyramid within a pyramid. And then last but not least, something that is, to me, just an immensely profound discovery. When I started to blow up some of the pictures of these small spires or pyramids at the Salt Lake Temple, lo and behold, what did I find but the pine cone, which is the universal symbol for the pineal gland. And you can see here at the top, I hid that before so you could see this now in context. Here's the pine cone sitting atop the small spire, and it does, as it does on all the small spires on the Salt Lake Temple. And you compare that to this symbolism in other contexts, particularly in the Catholic Church and in some other Egyptian hieroglyphs. We see the depiction of the pine cone, which symbolizes the pineal gland. So what I find fascinating here is that the pineal gland symbol is sitting atop an interdimensional geometry on the Mormon temple. So I can't believe that these are accidents. This is just further proof that this information was known by the Mormons when they constructed their temples, and that was most likely, at least given the other Masonic symbolism that's found in that temple, very likely came from the Masonic traditions as well. So all fascinating correlations showing once again that this information has been known for thousands of years, and as in the case of the Catholic Church, is in plain sight, but yet in the context, for example, of the dunce cap, was known by the Catholic Church, and knowledge of the interdimensional aspects of that geometry were suppressed and hidden from the masses for centuries, so if not millennia. So I hope all of this is helpful to you. As always, tell your friends about Stargate Pyramids. Sign up, be a member, get information and access to all of our information, including our weekly podcasts. If you sign up, you'll get notification of those. They occur each and every Monday. Also, be sure to tune into our podcasts. They're generally on Monday at noontime. This coming week, it's going to be Monday at 5 o'clock. And finally, you have only until December 24th to get your holiday discount on your Stargate Pyramids. So if you're interested in taking advantage of that holiday sale, take advantage of it now. Go to stargatepyramids.com today and order your pyramid. We thank you for watching, and you have a great day.